pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this is a special meeting. It's to consider a department head request. It's the only item on the agenda. There'll be no public comment at this meeting. If the board would choose to ask a question of someone, if any individual feels comfortable answering, then that's fine. So we're right to the point. This is, Ron was going to request the board to consider relocating our farm market, our Sunday morning farm market.
Yes. As you know, we had some issues the first week out, we blocked off just one area of the parking, but allowed through traffic to continue. So as a result of that, the board suggested that we just block the street off as we had originally planned. Because we haven't had any additional farmers signed up yet, I thought that the best way to deal with some of this would be if we moved it up to the parking lot on Main Street. This would take us out of the traffic lanes and put it into an area where you didn't have that confusion. There were some parking issues last week, like when we blocked the street off. Sometimes people don't know exactly where to park. So I thought this might help to alleviate those issues.
Pretty simple request.
Simple request.
So it's essentially the same thing. And the idea is you've got currently the one vendor.
We got the one vendor. We've had interest from other vendors. There are some things I think that are holding some people back right now. But I think, especially as the fruit develops, we had Watt Farms up talking to us last week. So I think as the fruit develops and stuff, we'll get some more. It's been a fun year for the farmers in the first place.
You would volunteer, until now you volunteered your time to do
Yes,
this.
and that's the other part of this. You should know that I'm not going to come down to the farm markets anymore. We're going to let the stands run on their own. We didn't go the extra step of getting the EBS cards approved right now because we only had the one vendor. So I don't think we need anybody down here for this.
Question?
Do either one of you have any feelings toward it? I mean...
Well, yeah, I do. I had actually some concerns from residents that have come to me and stated that they felt as though if they came down to the farmer's market, if by chance they happen to have a camera shoved in their face or something that the camera is taking pictures of their children, that they would have an issue with that. So they chose not to come down here because they didn't want to have any altercations. So my feeling is it is in the best interest of the safety and well-being of the residents to not continue this farm market.
Even in a different location?
Yes. Because I've had people, two gentlemen that have told me if they came down here to the farmer's market and a camera was put on their child in any way whatsoever, that they could not control their actions. So I don't think it's a good idea for us to have. It's unfortunate that, you know,
Three-ranged individuals.
people don't want to fix Albion, they want to destroy Albion. So I think it's in the best interest of the village not to continue with this.
I'd like to continue it. I feel that the location for it is where it is on Bank Street, and seeing there's only one vendor at this point. And this is something that, you know, it could have grown into other days of the week. We could have, you know, a daily market. And, I mean, is to not having it, I'd rather move it up the street than to drop it. But I would love to see us keep it down here and just section a small section off like we did in the first week, and then just move down the handicap spot a couple of spots. There's only one parking place for it, and put a temporary one up there for the one day. And it'd be nice if it could grow into, into more vendors.
Oh, I
And
agree,
it'd be nice
it would
to-
be nice
to
for the
grow into
village
more
to do
days
that,
a week,
yeah, but I
because
don't feel, I
people
feel it's a
can-
safety issue at this point.
Just to elaborate, because Fred brought up a point, the merchants have talked to me, they're gonna do Thursday night stay open until 7, and they asked if the farmer's market could be expanded that. I really haven't drawn that up yet, but we were gonna try to do a Thursday night farmer's market too. Especially since I don't have to be here, I do have other commitments. If we moved it, that would kind of facilitate that. But again, I hear what everybody's saying. I have some of those same concerns myself, but I just can't see where 3 people can run the entire village.
Well, I just don't, I think that it's a clear indication of what could happen. And I don't think that we should put the people, taxpayers, in jeopardy.
Well,
And I'm firmly, at this point, against it.
so, I mean, I guess the question, I know we've had issues with it being where it's been. You know, first, as you said, we tried it one way, and then the second week, we tried it another way, both in this section. And we had, I guess most recently last week, there were some concerns about where people were parking and parking illegally. And then, you know, in both cases, there's been a constant distraction of brought in by some folks who just don't want the farmer's market, and are in your face with cameras. And I guess going up to the parking lot, I guess, resolves the issue of traffic.
The parking, yeah.
But I'm not sure that it resolves the other issue.
There's nothing that's going to resolve the other issue until the court appearances and somebody ends up in jail, and that'll make it all go away.
So, I mean, I'm not going to take comments or questions, Michael.
Can I speak representing AMSA?
No, we would prefer not to take, and I appreciate the fact that you want to make a comment, but we're trying to make this and limit it to just board conversation, because it would be a workshop meeting. You know, we'll have our regular meeting. You know, certainly people can get on the agenda, and I would welcome you to do that at that point, as well as anybody else who wants to make a comment or ask a question. So, I guess, in my opinion, and I tend to agree with Eileen, I have concern, public safety related concern. I'm afraid that things can get blown up and somebody ultimately gets hurt. Somebody says things they don't want to say or regret later, somebody does something that they regret later. And the fact that there's potentially this continued ramp up or escalation of problems doesn't do anybody any good. We had hoped that we would start out with one vendor. We hoped we would start with more. But even starting with one, the idea was to test it this year and see what we could do next year. And my concern, I hope we can still do this next year. And we'll do a lot of input hopefully up front, and we'll do it. But we're only going to jeopardize that. I feel that if we keep going this year and we have problems and issues, I don't think you're going to have anybody want to sign up. And I don't think anybody want to come downtown and shop there. So.
It's definitely discouraged a lot of people from coming downtown.
So I appreciate, Ron, I appreciate everything you've done with
Yes,
this.
thank you.
I think it was a great idea to step up and volunteer your services. I think it's a good idea for downtown. I just would rather hold off for now. Maybe
I agree.
we look at it next year.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
So to the extent that I guess we need a vote for that. You want to,
I make a motion to discontinue the farmer's market at this time.
and I will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.